Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So today we have some big news regarding two cases that are both challenging California's handgun roster. We have some specific dates and some big developments. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on. Now, real quick, I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber yet, hit that little subscribe button, that bell notification. We do Second Amendment news and reviews on this channel on pretty much a daily basis, and we'd love to have you. So with that being said, let's give thanks to our sponsor. This channel is proud to be sponsored by SDI, Sonoran Desert Institute. Have you ever wanted to learn more about gunsmithing, firearms repair, or shooting sports management? Enroll in one of SDI's online programs or courses to take your hobby to the next level. Payment plans and funding options are available, so visit the link below or call 480-999-4767 to learn more. Okay, so the two cases we're going to be talking about today are Renna v. Bonta and Boland v. Bonta. Both of these cases challenge California's handgun roster, but they do it in a slightly different way. So again, we have two different cases. Now, interestingly enough, both of these cases have already been heard on the district court level. Both of these cases received injunctions against the roster. Unfortunately, again, in both cases, there was a stay placed on that order pending appeal. And of course, you know California is not going to give up anything without an appeal or taking it as far as they can possibly go. So, of course, California appealed that to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Well, now we have a specific date for oral arguments. And we also know that the same panel is going to be hearing both cases. So basically, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals put out a statement saying that because both of these cases are so similar, because both of these cases kind of deal with the same thing, being the roster, they're going to go ahead and have them heard by the same panel. Now, I think the Ninth Circuit is doing that, obviously, because they know that even within the Ninth Circuit, if you have two different sets of three-judge panels, each one in the Ninth Circuit, the way that they work things, could potentially come up with a different decision, right? And so you could have two conflicting orders on essentially what is almost the same case, right? And so what they've done is they've sort of consolidated them to one panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. However, they're not going to have the same oral arguments. So oral arguments are set for August of 2023. So we know that they're going to be heard in Pasadena, courtroom 1, 9 a.m., and they're both going to be heard, but they're going to be separated. So again, the same panel of judges is going to be hearing both, but oral arguments will be kept separate. Now, they do say that they can confer with each other on the two different cases and kind of compare notes, I guess, about, you know, different arguments that are brought forth by California, historical relevance after Bruin and stuff like that. Obviously, they're going to talk about both cases combined, but arguments will be kept separate. Now, in my opinion, it's both good and bad to have both these cases heard by the same panel. Part of me wants them to be heard by two different panels because, well, then you cover 6 different judges within the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. If they both came out and said that it's unconstitutional, then you have less likelihood of it passing once it goes en banc, if it would even go en banc and the entire Ninth Circuit would hear it, right? So in that case, that would be great. But consolidating them and bringing them both in front of the same panel means that it basically, if one decision comes down for one of them, you're going to get the same decision for the other. So if the judges decide that the roster, or at least parts of the roster, are unconstitutional, then more than likely you're going to see a win for both Renna and for Boland. So at least we'll get kind of both at the same time type of deal, right? I think the decision will come down at the same time from both. And then obviously California does have the opportunity to appeal and to go en banc. But again, I think that a win would show a very strong chance of it winning even on appeal to the Ninth Circuit. And then maybe it'll even go up to the Supreme Court, but we'll see. Now, usually they provide some type of live stream as the oral arguments are happening, so you're going to have both sides there. You're going to have FPC, you're going to have all the different attorneys that are going to be there. You're also going to have the opposition, which is California Department of Justice and Everytown, which has jumped on one of these. So you're going to have all of these different parties that are going to be there, whether it's in person or by video or by phone. And so we'll be able to jump on and listen to that. And so in a couple months when this happens, I'm going to go live and we'll listen to the oral arguments together. And it'll be really interesting to hear what California's arguments are, because remember, the California has to provide some type of historical analog to prove that their law should stand today. So they have to look, you know, way back in history, from the ratification of the Second Amendment to the Reconstruction era, and they're going to have to find something that is, you know, very, very similar within that time frame that held up through the courts if it was ever challenged to basically to solidify the roster as it stands now. If they can't do that, then just based on Bruin and the decision that was made in Bruin, it's unconstitutional. That's the end of it right there, because they have to look first at the text, right? Is the text implicated in the Second Amendment? Then they have to look at any type of historical analog or relevance. And so they're going to have to do that. And California is the one that's going to have to provide that relevance. And so we'll see exactly what happens there. But it should be very interesting oral arguments. And it's still nice to see any type of movement on this, because the roster is one of the things that drives people in California nuts the most. That's one of the things that people would like to see overturned or stopped, because it really limits what people can have in that state. I mean, they're limited beyond belief. And right now, as it stands at least, it's a 1 for 3 type of situation. So if anything new gets added to the roster, 3 things are supposed to come off. Now, I recently did a video where we talked about 2 new things that were added to the roster, and that was, I don't know, more than a month ago, I think now. And I've been checking the roster, and nothing new has come off this year. So whether or not California is actually going through with the 1 and 3 right now, it doesn't really look like it, just based off of what I'm seeing, but they at least have that option through the current roster law or regulation or whatever it's supposed to be. Regardless, I believe it's unconstitutional. I know that you guys believe it's unconstitutional, and I think it's going to be overturned, but it's going to take some time. But at least we got some movement. That usually takes a long time. These cases last 4 years. So to see movement already in the Ninth Circuit gives me a little bit of hope that this could be finished sooner than we thought. Anyway, I want to tell you guys about that. Thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.